everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I want it to be fall so desperately. You're shocked, I know. But unfortunately, it's still August, which is gross. However, I wanted to do a little bit of fall reading. I wanted to make a somewhat fall-esque vlog. So I figured the best way to do that would be to read some cozy mystery books, because I feel like they're not like too fall, but mystery books very much scream like early fall to me. So that's what I'm gonna be doing this week. I'm very excited to see what I think of these, because I've read a couple of cozy mystery books prior to this, I believe. And I don't really think I liked any of them necessarily, but I also feel like I wasn't really reading the right ones for me, you know? So I've selected 4 books that I'm gonna be reading this week. They're all pretty short, so like that shouldn't be too hard. So let me just go through these and then we'll get into the video. So the first book is the one that I'm probably the most excited about and the one that I'm gonna be starting with, and that is Shady Hollow by Juno Black. I believe in this one we are set in a town full of anthropomorphic animals and a murder happens and they're trying to figure out who did it, why they did it, all that kind of stuff. I've just heard really good things about this book and this series in general, and it has been on my radar for quite a while, so I cannot wait to get into this and see what I think of it. I think it's gonna be really fun. Then I have kind of like a quintessential cozy mystery looking book. You know, I feel like they're always in these like little mass market paperbacks, so I'm excited to get into this one. I've also heard really great things about this one as well, and that is In the Company of Witches by Arlie Wallace. I am really sad though, because I have a feeling I'm gonna like this, but there are only 2 books out in the series, and I'm pretty sure the author announced that she's not gonna continue with this series. However, that is not gonna stop me from reading this just because it sounds so fun. I believe this is set at like a little B&B. And again, there's a murder mystery, I would assume. But the cover art of this one is just so freaking cute. I've been so excited about it. And like, look at these little frogs. Oh my god, there's like a little, it's like a little frog in the spine. I'm obsessed. Or maybe they're toads. They kind of look like toads. What's the difference though? Like, I do not know the difference between a frog and a toad off the top of my head. Should I? I don't know, but I can't wait to get into this one. And then we have a book that I've never heard anybody talk about before. I think I saw it when I was scrolling on Pinterest, oddly enough. And that is The Perfectly Proper Paranormal Museum by Kristen Weiss. And first of all, look at this cover. Doesn't this look so fun? I believe this is also the start of a series. So I'm really hoping I like this one. I'm thinking I'm gonna listen to this one on audio because I did buy a puzzle specifically so I could do it this week. It is of course a fall Halloween type puzzle, so I figured that would be kind of perfect to like listen to this, do my puzzle. And then lastly, I do kind of have a murder mystery essential, you know, because I've read a couple of Agatha Christie books before. I've read Murder on the Orient Express, which I liked, and then there were none, which I really did not like. And I read like a short story, I don't remember what it was. And overall, I don't really think I've loved any of them. However, I've never read a Miss Marple mystery before, so I kind of want to give like her mysteries a shot and see if maybe I like them. I don't know. So I decided the best way to do that would be to pick up the first one, I believe, that is kind of in the Miss Marple series, and that is The Murder at the Vicarage. I don't know what this one is about, aside from the fact that it's probably about a murder mystery. So I can't wait to get into this one and give Agatha Christie another shot, because I feel like I'm missing out. Like, she has so many books. So those are the 4 books that I'm planning to read this week. I don't really think I have anything specific that I would like to do this week, aside from working on my puzzle. And obviously, I think it goes without saying, I'm gonna work on my blanket. I've been talking about my blanket in so many videos. I'm not gonna give you guys too many updates on it, because I feel like I gave you guys a lot of updates in my last video about it. But I'm at 99 squares, and I think my target number of squares is like 150 or so. It was less than I originally thought it was gonna be, so that's good. But I still have a lot of work to do, so I'm probably going to continue to work on my blanket throughout the week as well. So those are kind of my plans. It should be a very cozy week, that's for sure. Just partaking in my favorite hobbies: reading, puzzling, crocheting, all the good stuff. So I think that is everything that I needed to share with you guys in this intro. As I said earlier, I am planning on starting with Shady Hollow, and I can't wait. So I'm going to jump into this and I will give you guys an update later. So it is the next day. It is Saturday morning, and I have made some progress with Shady Hollow. I think I'm about halfway through it, maybe. I'm on page 108, if you were curious. But I'm really enjoying this so far. It is definitely very cozy, very fun, which is really all I could possibly want from this book. Basically, we're following kind of a central character whose name is Vera, and she is a fox. And she is a reporter, and she works for the Shady Hollow newspaper. And one morning she finds out that there is a dead person floating in the pond in Shady Hollow. And stuff like this does not normally happen in Shady Hollow. I think they were saying that like the extent of the crime that goes on is like noise complaints basically, and like shoplifting. So everybody in the town is kind of in a tizzy over this news. They're like ordering locks for their doors. It's like a whole thing. So obviously we are following Vera as she is trying to get the scoop for the newspaper, but obviously she also just wants to figure out who did it and why they did it. But I'm really liking this so far. I don't think it's going to be like a book that leaves a lasting impression on me in any way. I don't really find myself to care too much about the characters that are in this book, I guess. But the kind of town atmosphere I absolutely love, because it's just this small little unassuming town that is being inhabited by all of these different types of animals. And something I thought was funny is that there's an author's note in the beginning of this book that basically says, don't think too much about the fact that all of these animals live together, and don't think too much about how they're communicating, which I just thought was really funny, because obviously you would have to suspend your disbelief for something like that. But the fact that it had to be addressed, I was like, what happened? Like, did something happen? Why is this here? But I just feel like this is a very whimsical story, and I do feel like the writing kind of adds to that whimsy. I mean, you're following a bunch of woodland creatures around while they're trying to solve a murder mystery. Obviously that's going to be pretty whimsical. I also really loved the first sentence of chapter 1, which I'm just going to read to you because it's just perfect for like the time of year that we are currently in. Because it says, one lovely dawn in late August, the sun was cresting the tops of the distant hills to pour its golden light over the forest. I don't know what it is, but there's nothing more satisfying than reading a book at the same time that the book is set. You know, so like I'm just having a great time with this so far. It's just been really fun. The only thing that I'm not really liking about this book so far is that it relies so heavily on cliches. And in the beginning I was like, oh, you know, it's kind of endearing, but like as the book goes on, I'm like, all right, we get that the fox is sly. We get that the hummingbird is a busybody. Like I just feel like it plays so heavily into cliches about these animals, and at some point I just think it's a little bit too much. But that doesn't necessarily like hinder my reading experience. It's just something that every time it comes up I'm like, couldn't we have figured out something different for this? But aside from that, I don't really think I have any complaints about it. I'm just enjoying it, and I'm definitely planning on finishing it up today. It is definitely a super fast read. Also, I was looking more into this book series, and I found out that there is a Halloween short story, and I'm pretty sure it was written after the third or fourth book came out in this series. But I looked online and a lot of people were saying like you can read it out of order. So I'm thinking I might pick up that short story in October because it would be so fun. It's called Phantom Pond. I want to read that, so I might do that as well. So yeah, there's my update on Shady Hollow for the time being. Also yesterday I did do a little bit of journaling because I'm running out of space in my current like bookshelf overview spread, so I made a new one. I obviously had to make it very autumnal, like that just feels right, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, so I cannot wait to start using that. And then I didn't really do much of anything else yesterday. I think I watched The Vampire Diaries for about 5 hours while I was working on my blanket, so that's kind of the extent of what I did yesterday. But I recently restarted watching The Vampire Diaries, and it is so good. Like, oh, it's been like 2 years or so probably since I last watched it, so it's been a while. And like getting back into it, I'm like, why have I not been watching this? It's just so ridiculous and dramatic, but like it's so fun. Like I'm just having the best time, and I definitely want to like rewatch that over the next few months or so. Anyway, as for my plans for today, I'm probably gonna finish up Shady Hollow, but I also really would like to start working on my puzzle, which I'm quite excited about. It's a little Halloween-esque puzzle, and I'm probably going to do that while I listen to my audiobook for the Perfectly Proper Paranormal Museum. I believe somebody is like turned up murdered in this museum, so I'm interested to see kind of what this story is like. I mean, if the cover is any indication, I feel like the vibes should be good. And if they're not, I'll be gravely disappointed. But yeah, that's kind of where things are at for the time being. I'm gonna go work on my puzzle later, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. So it's now Sunday morning, and I do have a couple of updates because I have finished a book, I started a book, I worked on my puzzle yesterday, which is really fun, and I want to start a book today. So I have just a couple things to talk about real fast. The first one being that I finished up Shady Hollow, and I did really like this book, but I just feel like there was something missing from it, and I don't know what. Because I feel like there was no point in time during this book where I felt like I had to know what was gonna happen next. Like, I don't need it to be incredibly gripping, but there were just times in this story where I was like, meh, like, it's fine. I probably won't continue on with the normal series, honestly. I know there are like 4 other like books that are this length. I do still want to read Phantom Pond that I was talking about yesterday because I think the Halloween-ness of that story will probably be something that I would enjoy, but I just don't really care about these characters in any way. I definitely thought it was a very cozy read. Absolutely recommend if you're looking for a cozy read, but I don't think it's a series that I would want to continue with. And I don't know if I have anything else to say about it. I don't know. I think it was kind of fun to like see everybody in the town. The majority of the story is following Vera as she is kind of going around this town and interviewing everybody and kind of picking up different parts of the story, which I enjoyed. I love the town. I love the little small woodland creature town so much. But you know, the vibes and the ambiance can only take you so far with a book. So I enjoyed my time reading this, but it's not a book that I will probably think about much going forward. Yeah, there's that. However, yesterday I did start and finish my puzzle. I love a good 500-piece puzzle because they're the kind of puzzle that you can typically complete within like 5 hours or so, I'd say. And while sometimes I want a little more out of my puzzle and I'll get like a 1,000-piece puzzle, those definitely take me like a couple of days to do. But sometimes a nice little afternoon of puzzling where you can start and finish it, it's just nice, you know? But I did start my audiobook for The Perfectly Proper Paranormal Museum. I don't know how far into this book I am though. Also, something I must say is that the audiobook, like the cover for the audiobook for this is different from this cover, and I think it's so cute. Wait, let me turn down my brightness. Look, it's literally Poppy. Like, this is my cat, you know? Or maybe it'll be Poppy in like a couple of years. Like, I think she's gonna get even fluffier and even whiter at some point. So this will literally be Poppy in a few years. And I just love the cover for this audiobook. I think it's so cute. Not that that has anything to do with anything, but you know, I pulled that up and I didn't even see how far I was into it. Okay, I'm on page 164 of how many pages? Like 300-ish, so I'm a little bit over halfway. Also, side note, I'm pretty sure I said this author's name wrong because her name's Kirsten, not Kristen, so that's my bad. I am really enjoying listening to the audiobook of it. I feel like if I was reading this physically, I might be a little bit bored, but I think listening to the audiobook I'm really enjoying, and I would consider kind of continuing this series because I feel like it's going to get better as this kind of paranormal museum gets established a little bit. Because in this book we are following Maddie, and it kind of opens up on her chatting with a couple of her friends at lunch. One of her friends is like the current owner of the paranormal museum, but she doesn't want it. She's trying to like give it away. She tried to sell it to Maddie for $1, and Maddie was like, absolutely not. But after that lunch, they ended up going to the paranormal museum to kind of, you know, scope things out, and they ended up finding a dead woman there. And coincidentally, this is the woman that our main character's friend's boyfriend, fiance, was cheating on her with. So they call the cops end up taking Maddie's friend into custody because she was at the crime scene, there's technically motive there, but it's all very circumstantial evidence, but she's in jail. So Maddie is currently watching over the paranormal museum while her friend is in jail. And we're kind of just following her as she is navigating, taking care of this museum. She's also kind of navigating all of the people that are like in and around and involved with this museum, because there are definitely some weird characters that show up, and considering the murder took place in the museum, she is very wary of everybody, and she's kind of trying to figure out maybe if these people had anything to do with the murder. So I've really enjoyed the parts of this book that take place at the paranormal museum. There are definitely like some spooky things that might potentially be happening. I'm not sure if this book is actually going to be paranormal or not. It's definitely leading me potentially in that direction, but like they might just pull back at the last second, pull a Riley Sager on me and be like, actually, here's the real world explanation for this. And I'm gonna be a little bit sad if that's the case, because I feel like this is the kind of series that I would continue and like listen to on audio if it actually involves ghosts. But just like the general vibes of this story, like they're almost there. But I feel like once the paranormal museum gets a little bit more established, I think it'll probably get better, which is why I'm considering potentially continuing it. But something I don't like about this book is the characters. Like almost all of them suck. Like our main character Maddie is fine, but literally everybody in her life is awful. Her mother is so irritating. Like this, oh my god, this woman gets on my damn nerves. Because she is just constantly hounding Maddie about getting a job, but like not just any job. It has to be a job that her mother approves of, but like her mother is not really gonna approve of much of anything she does, frankly. But I'm kind of thinking that Maddie wants to work at this paranormal museum. She seems to really like it, but her mom does not think that is a respectable job. And her mom's on like the committee for this town, and they're trying to get the paranormal museum shut down because they think it's tacky. Like, they got it in the newspaper, like the #1 most tacky museum in the city, and it's the only museum in the city. And the whole time this is happening, her mother doesn't care. Like, you can tell this woman does not care. She does not want her child to work at this paranormal museum, when in reality, working at a paranormal museum would be so sick. But rant aside, I'm liking it. I'm honestly probably liking it more than I thought I was going to. I definitely want to go find the second book. I would assume they have it at my library somewhere. So I'd like to pick that up. I would also just like to go to the library in general sometime this week because it's been a minute since I went and did some reading in the library, so I might do that soon. I'm probably going to finish this up today by listening to the audiobook, and I will probably work on my blanket some more. So that's kind of my plan for the rest of today. However, I would also like to physically start a book as well, and I'm thinking I want to jump into In the Company of Witches because I want a witchy story. Like this one, it's giving me paranormal ghost vibes, but I want some witches. So I'm really excited to get into this one. I believe somebody turns up dead in this B&B, and there are witches somewhere in it, so I would assume our main character is a witch, probably. Ooh, okay, this is witchy and ghosty because Bryn is a witch of the dead, which is a witch who can commune with ghosts. I'm really excited for that, so I'll definitely be starting this today as well. So here are my kind of reading plans for the day. I will definitely give you guys an update soon. But yeah, I hope to do a lot of reading, a lot of crocheting, and I will talk to you guys when I have an update. is a couple days later and I do have a few updates for you guys. First of all, I do want to talk about my blanket because I was reading the comments on my latest vlog and a lot of you guys said that you really like the blanket updates. So here's a proper blanket update. I don't remember where I left it off in my last vlog. I think I had probably just hit 99 squares. But since then, I have added on a new row. So in the blanket, like all done, ends woven in, attached, all that stuff, I have 108 squares, which is just so many. And it's like so big. Look, it's not even close to fitting in frame anymore. It's just so large. And I'm so happy with it, honestly. Although my ring keeps getting caught on these threads and I'm not happy about that. But then over the last 2 days, I have been crocheting like mad, let me tell you. But I decided I don't want to attach any more squares until I have all of the squares like finished and crocheted. So I was just going for it and I have this many squares. But look at all these ends. Like, I'm terrified, honestly. I know I'm just gonna have to sit down and like throw on a show and weave all of these ends in one go. But I'm not gonna be happy about it because that is my least favorite part. However, I am happy about the fact that I've made so much progress in the last 2 days. I think I have 26. I think I have 26 squares here maybe, which is a lot. And I did the math and I only have 20 squares to go until I am completely finished with all of these squares that I will need for this blanket. So that's honestly kind of crazy. I feel like I have been working on this blanket for like 2 months now, making this easily the longest crochet project I've ever completed. To be fair, I have not completed many crochet projects, but this one has definitely taken up the most of my time. So I am quite excited to have it done, honestly, because I'm so tired of crocheting granny squares. But it's almost done, and then I'm not gonna look at a granny square for a long time, probably. But progress has been made, and I'm so excited. All I have to do is crochet 20 more, weave in the ends, attach, and then put a border on, and I'm done. Like, I know that sounds like a lot, but like, based on how much work I've put into this already, it's not. So the end is in sight. Obviously, I will be sharing the final product with you guys. I feel like I'll probably have it done within the week, maybe, which again is crazy. Like, I literally don't know what I'm gonna do with my time after I finish this blanket, because this is all I've been working on for like the last 3 weeks. I feel like the first month of this project, I was like dipping in and out of it, but like the last 3 weeks, I've been going hard with this blanket. So the fact that it's almost done, I'm so excited. Yeah, there's my blanket update. I'll just put her there. Oh, I totally forgot. I still have plans to take some of these squares out. Like, I have replaced some of them, but there are still some pink squares that I do not want in there anymore. So I guess I do have a little bit more than 20 to do. And taking them out and replacing them does take a while. I'll think about that later. Anyway, moving on, because I have reading updates, a couple reading updates. The first one being the fact that I finished the Perfectly Proper Paranormal Museum. Honestly, I liked this. I thought it was fun. I really liked the setting of the Paranormal Museum, and obviously our character is going to continue to work in the Paranormal Museum, so I probably potentially will pick up the second book. I think there are like 4 or 5 books out in the series now, and I would be interested enough to check them out. Especially right now because I'm listening to a lot of audiobooks while I crochet this, so I'm like, maybe I'll pick up the audiobook and like I can work on my blanket some more, you know? As for how this mystery wrapped up though, I felt nothing. And that review is probably pretty at odds with the fact that I said I wanted to continue the series. But I feel like the person who was actually doing the murders wasn't in the book enough and wasn't close enough to any of our characters for me to care like at all. Like, if the killer had been the main character's brother or something, I would have been like, oh my god, juicy, I love that. But it wasn't. And I just found the conclusion to the mystery to be kind of boring. However, I like the fact that as this book went on, it did start to feel like more and more paranormal. I also like the fact that there's this whole like subplot thing going on that has to do with this couple that used to live in this town like 100 years ago, and the wife was convicted of murdering her husband, but our main character Maddie isn't quite convinced, so she spends some time in this book trying to prove that the wife was innocent, which I really liked. I feel like that was an interesting kind of side quest thing that she had going on. And I also like how it impacted the descendants of that couple that were like living in the town in the current day, so I thought that was fun. I liked that part a lot. I also liked the fact that there is a cat that lives in the museum. Obviously, I mean, I showed you guys the cat on the audiobook cover, and then there's also this little guy. His name is GD Cat, which stands for Ghost Detecting Cats. Like, if I had a paranormal museum, obviously I would need a cat. So the fact that there's one in this series is quite fun. And the cat has an attitude, and I just think it's fun. I didn't love this one, but I had a good time with it, I guess. I don't think I would ever read this series physically, but I definitely would consider continuing it on audio. So there's that. I liked this one. But then I have an even more exciting update because, as you guys saw, I did start In the Company of Witches by Orly Wallace. And I love it so far. And I'm so sad that this series isn't getting continued. But I'm, happy there are even 2 out because I'm loving this book so far. I'm on page 86. Like, I'm not even that far into it, but like from the first chapter, I was like, this is gonna be good. I'm really gonna like this. Which I'm really happy about because I feel like I haven't had a book in this video so far that I'm like, oh my god, this is great, Like the first 2 are like fine, but I was a little bit scared that the books would continue to be fine. But no, this one's good. This one is really, really fun so far. But this book is following our main character Bryn, who lives with her 2 aunts in this B&B, and they are all witches. And let me tell you, like, one of my favorites, I don't think it's, hello, barging in here, ma'am. I was in the middle of talking. You'll never guess who it is. It's always her. She's so cute. Thanks for saying hi. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. But one of my favorite just recurring things that happens in a lot of like witchy shows, movies, books, whatever, is our main character who's a young witch living with her 2 witchy and crazy aunts. They do it in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I love Hilda and Zelda so much. They also do it, I think, partially in A Discovery of Witches. And there are probably a couple that I cannot remember at this present moment, but I feel like it's a thing that does pop up a lot. And I absolutely love it. Like, I just always think the dynamic is so fun. But our main character is living with her aunts in this B&B in this really small town called Evenfall. And I feel like Evenfall is literally just Stars Hollow. Like, if you like Gilmore Girls, I think you would really enjoy this book because there are definitely a lot of characters that remind me so much of the characters in Gilmore Girls. There's this guy whose name is like Mr. Henderson maybe, who was very much just Taylor. There is this woman who runs a dance studio and she like used to be on Broadway, and I'm like, obviously this is Miss Patty. So I really do like those parallels. They're very like clear to see, but like I don't really mind it. I think it's really fun. And it's just like a small town where everybody knows everybody, which is, that's like one of the main things I love about cozy mysteries is the towns that they are set in, because they're always just so small and cozy and quaint. And I love a small and cozy and quaint town. But this book is focusing on this woman who was staying in the B&B while she was having some renovations done to her house. And this woman sounds like a piece of work because she literally bought out the entire B&B so she could stay there alone. She was so demanding, so rude. So like it was very easy to see from the start that she was the one that was gonna get murdered in the B&B, and she did. However, the kind of whole issue here is that one of the aunts was like very vehemently outwardly speaking about the fact that she was sick of this woman and that she was gonna go like kill her, which is not a good look when the police are trying to investigate who could have potentially murdered this woman. So we're kind of just following them as they are trying to figure out who killed this woman, whose name is Constance, I believe. Is her name Constance? Yes, her name is Constance Graves. Oh, what a spooky name, honestly. But I'm absolutely loving the characters so far. I'm really enjoying Bryn as our main character because even though she's a witch, she is currently not practicing. And I feel like the reason as to why adds a lot of kind of depth to her character because her husband passed away. I don't know how long ago, but her kind of specialty is that she can talk to the dead, and ever since her husband died, she hasn't really been able to do that. So I think we're gonna see her kind of overcome this block that she has on her magic, and I think that's gonna be really interesting. I feel like it just adds a little something to her character that I'm enjoying seeing explored. And obviously I love the aunts as well. I feel like they're such a good foil to one another because one of them is like very, aggressive, she's very outspoken, and the other one is very nice, very calm, so I just feel like they work really well together. And I just love the inclusion of magic in this book. I feel like it's that extra thing that I need in a cozy mystery to kind of take it to the next level for me to really love it. Like, as a fantasy reader, I feel like that little, excuse you, no. That little, something extra is going to kind of make me a little bit more invested in the story, but I am loving it. Like, these witches trying to solve a murder mystery, yes please. Like, it is just so fun so far. So I'm loving it. I'm definitely planning on reading a lot of this today. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it, but I mean, it's not that long. I don't know. We'll kind of just see what I'm feeling with it. I do think this morning I want to go to the library because I have not gone to read at the library for a while. And I just feel like that would be kind of nice. I also have some holds that I need to pick up as well, so I will also do that and show you what I pick up when I get back. But that is my update. I'm loving this book. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star, but right now it has the potential to be a 5-star read. And obviously I will be picking up the second book as well. But I'm going to head to the library and I will see you guys later. You can take a minute to look at Winnie surveying her kingdom. What you doing? You're too easy. All right, let's go to the library. Hello everybody. It is currently Friday morning, I think. And I feel like I have a lot of small updates for you guys, aside from the one big update that I have, which I'm gonna share first, because I have not finished my blanket. I'm not that crazy. But I have finished making all of these squares for my blanket, and I have woven in the ends on all of them. So here they are. Look at how satisfying this is. This is like all I've been doing over the last 3 days. There are like 50 granny squares here, and they are all ready to go into my blanket. And I feel like I'm gonna finish my blanket this weekend, which is kind of crazy. I feel like I've been working on this thing for so long. And the fact that the end is almost here, like I don't even know what to do with myself, frankly. We'll just put those there for now. So I'm definitely going to be spending a lot of today working on that, and probably tomorrow and the next day as well. I don't know how long this is going to take me. I'm aiming to attach all of these squares today and then put the border on it tomorrow. And then by Sunday, we should be done, which is kind of like, I don't like, oh my god. So yeah, that's my big blanket update for you guys. I am going to be spending so much time working on that over the next couple days. Obviously, I will share all the progress with you guys as we go. So that's like the main update that I have for you guys, but I do have like a couple of smaller things that I want to talk about. The first thing being all of the books that I picked up from my library trip a couple days ago, which was so nice, by the way. I had such a nice time. And I decided to pick up 4 books, and I thought I could quickly show you those. The first one being The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. This is like a spooky kind of romance book, which I'm really hoping to read in September. I feel like it just sounds really fun. Then I also picked up An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. This is, I think this book came out like earlier this year, like February maybe, but I loved A Dowry of Blood, so I've been really excited about this one because it's a kind of dark academia, rivals to lovers type of situation. Also, I must know, is there like a vampire thing going on in this book? Because the back quote says, "One of us was always going to bleed for the other." Like, are they just being dramatic, or are there actually vampires? Although, as I'm saying this, I realize this book is a Carmilla retelling, so there probably are vampires in this book. I'm just being dumb. But listen to the first part of the blurb for this book and tell me it doesn't sound fantastic, honestly. It says, "Deep in the forgotten hills of Massachusetts stands St. Perpetua's Women's College. Isolated and ancient, it is not a place for timid girls. Here, secrets are currency, ambition is lifeblood, and strange ceremonies welcome students into the fold." That sounds so good. I am so excited about this one. I can't wait. And then I have another book, which is kind of, I don't think it's dark academia, but I know it's set in a school, and that is The Library of Shadows by Rachel Moore. I think this one follows a girl and a ghost, and I think they fall in love potentially, which sounds really good. So I'm really excited about this one, and I've heard good things from the people that I've seen read it. And then finally, I picked up a little bit of a thriller because I do like a thriller every now and then, and this one looked spooky, so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And that is The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. I think I owned this book at one point, like a long time ago. I had a copy of this, and then I unhauled it because I was like, I'm never gonna read that. But I think conceptually it sounds interesting because I think you're kind of following our main character who gets an inheritance, but she doesn't know the person who gave her this inheritance. But here are the 3 books that I picked up from the library. I'm really excited about all of them. Very seasonally appropriate, so hopefully they all deliver on what I'm hoping they will. And then I also do have something that I want to show you because yesterday I went to Paper Source, which I've never been to Paper Source before, but it's like one of the only stationery shops that is around me at all, which makes me very sad. There are not enough stationery stores in my area. But I went to Paper Source and they had a Halloween section out, and I was like, obviously I need to get something from the Halloween section. So I decided to pick up this little like memo notepad thing, and look how cute it is. Let me take it out of the plastic. I am always just like writing small notes to myself on like post-its, which that's fine, that's fun, whatever. But now I can write it on this, and it's so cute. I'm obsessed with this like art style for Halloween. Yeah, that's my little Halloween purchase of the week, because obviously there must always be one. Now that we've, you know, gotten all the other stuff out of the way, it's time for a little bit of a reading update because I have read some more of In the Company of Witches. I'm currently on page 244. So I think I have like 70 pages left to go maybe. And I would very much like to finish this book up today. So that is definitely kind of my goal. Obviously I do want to spend some time like working on my blanket, but I would like to carve out some time also to finish this book because I am continuing to really enjoy this. I don't think it's going to end up being a 5-star. I feel like it's not quite at that 5-star level, but I do feel like this is definitely going to be my favorite book of the vlog because I am continuing to have a great time with it. As the book has progressed, we are just continuing to follow our main character Bran as she is going around town and trying to clear her aunt's name, and I'm just really enjoying all of her interactions with the people in the town. There are also a couple of, you know, secrets being unearthed about the family of the woman that died, which is quite juicy. There's a lot of family drama revolving around who got what in the will when their father died, and I feel like that is kind of maybe given some characters motive for killing Constance, although who knows? Also, our main character Brynn has kind of been continuing to grapple with the death of her husband. I feel like Orly Wallace has done a really good job so far at portraying just how acutely our main character Brynn still feels the pain of her husband's passing. And obviously it's really sad to read at times watching her kind of go through this, but also she has a really good support system, and seeing her kind of open up a little bit to them and start to talk about it more is nice. I'm also really liking the addition of magic to the story as well. I love seeing what they can do with it, how they're using it, how it can go haywire sometimes. I also feel like it's a very whimsical magic system. It's very like traditional as well. Like they have spell books, they have cauldrons that they cook up their spells in, and it's just really fun. It's like the perfect witchy cozy mystery. I feel like I need more witchy cozy mysteries. I feel like those are the kind of cozy mysteries that I will absolutely love. So if you guys have any recommendations, because I'm gonna need more, I'd love to know. But yeah, I'm really excited to finish the last 70 pages of this book. I feel like it will continue to be really fun, and this is definitely going to be probably my favorite book of the month, if I had to take a guess. What else have I read this month? Not a ton, so I feel like this will be my favorite one. So that's kind of the only reading that I've done since the last time I talked to you. However, I would really like to start The Murder at the Vicarage today, but I'm thinking I might listen to this partially on audio while I work on my blanket. I'll probably pick it up physically at some point, but I think the audiobook was available from my library. Yeah, so it is available from my library. It's like 7 hours long, so I'll probably, you know, kind of jump back and forth with working on my blanket, reading this physically. Obviously I want to read this today too, so these are kind of just my reading plans for this weekend. But that is enough yapping for this little update, because I really want to get into connecting all of my squares, and that is what I'm going to be working on this morning. So let's get into doing that and listening to my audiobook for The Murder at the Vicarage. bet you're wondering why we're starting the vlog No, we're not starting a vlog. What am I saying? I bet you're wondering why this update is being started while I'm standing up. But it is because I need a wide space to show you guys my finished blanket. I'm so excited. Okay, no more suspense. Let me show you. I'm thinking I can get all of this in frame. I'm not tall enough for this. Maybe if I back up. Ta-da! Oh, I think I got it. Maybe. I don't know. But here it is. Oh my god, I'm so happy that it is done, honestly. It has been a fun journey, but I am ready for the journey to be over, honestly. But I finished it up yesterday. I put the border on it. I ended up doing just a simple black border with some purple outlining on it, and I really like the border. And then I washed and dried it last night, so it feels very you know, drapey, very soft, because that did soften up the acrylic a little bit. And it just feels so nice now. I'm so excited that it's finished. I feel like it looks really good. Like, I am very happy with how this turned out. It's taken me 2 months to finish this. I think I started it in late June maybe, and I've been sharing the updates with you guys ever since. Also, all of your comments were very motivating, so thank you for all the kind comments. It really kept me, you know, wanting to progress more with this blanket and finish it within a timely manner. So yeah, it's done. Honestly, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my time now. Because I feel like for the last 3 weeks, I've really been like honing in on this blanket and working on it a lot. So now that it's actually finished, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because right now I'm vowing to not look at a crochet hook for at least a month because this is a lot. But it's done in time for fall. I know I said a couple of videos ago that my deadline was like the 1st of fall, but obviously I beat that by a lot. But yeah, this is just the biggest crochet project that I have ever taken on and I've ever completed. So I'm quite proud of myself. And I'm definitely gonna do like a little reading journal spread for it. Well, like, it's not a reading related thing, but I did listen to audiobooks while I was doing this, so like it kind of fits. But I've been recording all of the things that I've been like watching and listening to while I've been working on this. And I want to make a little spread for it, so I'm gonna do that probably later today. However, you're not gonna see that because I'm ending the vlog. So let me sit down and we'll talk about books now. So blanket update aside, it is actually time to end the video. Now, here's the thing. I have not finished The Murder at the Vicarage. In fact, I haven't even started it yet. I was going to a couple days ago. I was gonna listen to the audiobook for it, but I started listening to the audiobook and I just didn't like it. So I know I want to read this book physically, but then I spent like 2 days straight working on this blanket and now here we are. So needless to say, this book is not going to be getting read in this video, but that's okay. I have other plans for this book, which maybe you'll see eventually. But I did finish up In the Company of Witches by Orly Wallace, so there's something. I loved this book so much, honestly. I really liked the ending. I think it bordered a little bit on being kind of cheesy, but at the same time, it was just really heartwarming and cute, so I did really like it. I don't think the ending to this mystery is going to shock literally anybody, frankly, but I just really enjoyed this book overall. I really liked the characters. I really liked the kind of town ambiance, and it was just really fun. And it makes me even more sad that this series is not going to get continued, but I do really want to read the second one kind of soon. I will probably read that sometime within the next couple of months, and I'm really excited for it, even though it'll be the end of the series. But I just love this so much. Like, it was just so cute, so cozy. Definitely my favorite book of the vlog. Like, if you guys have seen this around and you've been interested, I would recommend. I was talking to Mackenzie about this because we were like somewhat buddy reading this book, and she described it as like the perfect mix of Gilmore Girls and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I 100% concur. And that is just the absolute perfect mix for me because those are two of my favorite shows ever. So this was just super fun and probably definitely my favorite book of the month as well so far. I mean, August isn't over yet, but it's almost over, so I'm thinking it's gonna be this one. So those are my final thoughts on In the Company of Witches, but I did finish 2 other books in this video as well. The first one being The Perfectly Proper Paranormal Museum. Again, this one didn't like blow me away, but it was fun, and I would consider reading the rest of the series on audio if I'm feeling that at some point. And then I also finished Shady Hollow, which was fun, but I feel like this book was just a little boring, honestly. Something about it just was not holding my attention, but I still really enjoyed it. Like, it was cute, it was fun, it was cozy, but it's not a book that I will probably ever think about again. And I'm probably not going to continue the series aside from reading that little Halloween novella. So these are the 3 books that I managed to read in this video. I still feel like, even though I did not get to the Agatha Christie book, I still feel like I did some good reading this week. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've had a really fun time filming it, so I hope you guys liked it. I think as for cozy mystery as a genre, because I haven't read a ton of it before, I feel like overall it's probably not gonna be my favorite thing. Although saying that, I don't think I've really read like a normal cozy mystery in this vlog, because these 2 included like a witchy paranormal kind of thing, and this one was with anthropomorphic animals. So I guess maybe I don't know if I like contemporary, like normal cozy mysteries, but as for these, I'm thinking I probably need to stick to like witchy or paranormal cozy mysteries. Like, those seem to be my favorites out of the, you know, very small sample size that I have right now. So if you guys have any paranormal or witchy recs for me, please let me know, because I think those I would really like. But I would say the results pretty decent so far. Like, this book came pretty close to being a 5-star, honestly. Like, I contemplated it. I thought about giving it a 5-star. I'm still kind of thinking about it, but I don't think I will. But it's really close up there. But I think that is everything that I have for you guys in this video. I'm gonna keep this outro pretty short for once, and I'm gonna let you go. Before we go though, I would like to thank everybody over on my Patreon. If you're ever looking for more content from me, that is always linked down below. We do some fun stuff over there. I do a monthly buddy read, I do journaling videos, extra videos, and we're doing a readathon in October, which is gonna be really fun. But with that, I am actually gonna let you go. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having an amazing Monday, or whatever day it is that you're watching this video. And I will see you guys in my next one.